Why is everyone so fucking stupid? Why aren't more people intelligent, like me?
Alright, after last week's rough, heartbreaking loss last week, the Lions got a game to get right back on track after last week with Atlanta coming to town. So we got the Falcons this week. So let's look at everything for this game and see how this game looks this week. So, of course, for the point spread in the line, despite the Lions getting beat up to hell and back with a bunch of injuries after the game against the Seahawks, Detroit is shockingly still favored in this game by 3.5 points over the Falcons, even though Atlanta's still undefeated this year at 2-0. But, still very early this season. Also, Detroit has had Atlanta's number in the all-time head-to-head series. Detroit leads the all-time series over Atlanta 25-14. So, usually Detroit has matched up very well against the Falcons for the longest time. Atlanta this year, this is Atlanta's first road game of the season because their first 2 games this year have been at home. Atlanta last year on the road, they went 1-7 on the road, so they were not a very good road team by any stretch of the imagination. While Detroit is 0-1 at home after they lost last week against Seattle. So, of course, some key players for the Falcons on offense. Of course, on offense, you have Desmond Ridder. And Desmond Ridder, he's been a mixed bag. Like, I'll show his stats on the screen this season through all 4 quarters. Like, so far, his 2 best quarters so far have been the second quarter and fourth quarter. He always turns it up here. Yeah, so he's been kind of inconsistent so far. But he usually tends to perform well when it matters the most in the game. Interesting. Mixed bag here, Maybe he could be the face of the franchise. Maybe he's a bridge QB for whoever the Falcons take next. Time will tell there. The running back trio, you got, of course, the rookie Bijan Robinson, and who's going to be the number 1 bell cow for the Falcons. You also got Tyler Allgeier and Cordell Patterson, too. The receiving core, you got Drake London leading the charge there. They also got Mac Hollins and Scott Miller in there. The tight end core, you got, of course, led by the athletic freak Kyle Pitts. You also got Jonnu Smith, Parker Hess, and John Fitzpatrick. On defense, of course, the defensive line is anchored by one of the top defensive tackles in the game, and Grady Jarrett. You also got Calais Campbell in there, David Onyemata, Taquan Graham, and Zach Harrison. Of course, they're going to be without Eddie Goldman as he's on the reserve list for an undisclosed injury. Linebacking core has names like Kay Nellis, Bud Dupree, Arnold Ekabati, Ebikiti, Lorenzo Carter, D'Angelo Malone. Now, Troy Anderson, he's questionable for this game with a concussion on a concussion protocol. I think he'll be cleared and he'll play this Sunday. I think he'll clear it in time. And in the secondary, of course, secondary is anchored by names like Jesse Bates and A.J. Terrell. They also got other names in there like Clark Phillips, Mike Hughes, D. Alford, Richie Grant. Now, of course, on the other big name corner on this squad, I'm Jeff Okudah. For Okudah, he may or may not be getting his revenge in Detroit this Sunday in his first game back in Detroit since he got traded in the offseason. As Okudah is questionable for this game with a foot injury. Wow, even in a new environment and a fresh start, Okudah still has issues staying healthy. Lions fans want to know why the Lions weren't going to keep Okudah and move on from him? Case in point, still can't stay healthy. The head coach of this squad, of course, is Arthur Smith. The offensive coordinator is Dave Ragone. And defensive coordinator is Ryan Nielsen. We're not going to use the rankings from this year yet because it's too soon in the season. Like 2 games, that's still not enough time to really gauge anybody. The offense for the Falcons last year was ranked 24th. They were the second worst passing team in the league last year at 31st. But oddly enough, they were the 3rd best team running the ball and had a top 10 rushing offense ranked 3rd. And they add on that with Bijan Robinson. So they sucked balls last year passing the ball, but part of that was probably because of Marcus Mariota. And I'll tell you right now, that passing offense looks a lot different under Desmond Ridder. The Falcons' defense, though, was not that good last year, ranked 27th. They were 23rd against the pass, and 23rd against the run, and 25th against the pass. So, not that very good of a defense. Like, if there's a game where the Lions need to bounce back after last week, this is the game here. Like, the Lions need to get that offense going. Like, they need to, get some yards going. Like, they gotta use Jahmyr Gibbs more. Like, get him more involved in the game, especially with David Montgomery potentially out for a bit after his injury against the Seahawks. So, I think you gotta use Jahmyr Gibbs more and just try and get some plays going. Definitely the Lions need to establish the run, and for once, the Lions actually need to sack the quarterback entering this game. The crazy thing about Aiden Hutchinson this year is that despite Aiden Hutchinson getting fucking held every fucking play because no one can beat Hutchinson straight up and everyone has to cheat to beat Hutchinson, despite all that, Aiden Hutchinson is tied for the league lead with TJ Watt for most QB pressures, and he also leads in QB hurries as well. So despite getting held, he's still getting pressure to the quarterback either way. In other words, the sacks are coming eventually. I don't know, maybe everyone will stop holding Aiden Hutchinson once he starts getting sacks in spite of it. But either that or they'll stop once they start getting busted for it, because so far no one has really gotten busted for holding Aiden Hutchinson. Because I guess when it's the Lions, holding is no longer a penalty. Holding's no longer a penalty now unless it's the Lions committing it. But yeah, even then, though, the Lions still got to step up and battle adversity. But yeah, this is easily a winnable game for the Lions. Even though they're banged up, the Lions still early in the season, like Dan Campbell said, this season's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Even though the Lions have had injuries so far, got banged up, everyone deals with injuries. Everybody goes through it. At this point, somebody's got to step up. It's very simple. Someone either needs to step up or step aside. And even though we don't have C.J. Gardner-Johnson probably for the rest of the season, after he tore his pectoral, we still got 3 talented safeties in the secondary with Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph, and Brian Branch. So I think we're still good there. Corners could be a bit of a mess, but I think we still got a solid position. We just need to get some pressure to QB. Hutchinson needs to start sacking the QB. The sacks are coming. It's just not a matter of if, but when. And then other players on that D-line, they all got to fucking step up. And I think Brad Holmes definitely needs to make a move because we need to get a pass rush inside that fucking interior. I don't know. I don't know. Is it time to make a call to Ndamukong Suh? Time will tell there. I'd rather make a move for someone like a fucking Chase Young or some shit. But yeah, definitely the Lions need to make a move for sure. But yeah, this is easily a winnable game. Like, I think the Falcons so far are taking advantage of a pretty soft schedule so far. But, this is the perfect time to hand Falcons their first loss of the season. Give them that first L. But even if the Falcons do get the L this week, I think the Falcons are still in a pretty solid position. Like, maybe there's a chance Atlanta could win the NFC South. I mean, South is a complete crapshoot. Like, honestly, whoever wins that division is winning it by default. Since nearly everyone in that division sucks ass. Like, honestly, it might be a battle between Atlanta and New Orleans for it now. So, yeah, because Desmond Ridder has really looked impressive. And here's the impressive thing about the Falcons. The Falcons have been a really good fourth quarter team. So, I think if the Lions are going to have any chance of winning this game, you cannot give Atlanta a chance to come back in the fourth quarter. Like, if you're going to beat Atlanta, you got to take advantage of them in the first and third quarters where Desmond Ridder tends to struggle. Because Ridder seems to turn it up in the second and fourth quarters when it matters the most. Near the end of the half and near the end of the game. So, yeah, the best thing the Lions could do is, control time of possession, keep Ridder off the field so he can't do anything. Establish the run, and, just generate some offense. Not much else to say, just pretty much do what you did against Seattle, but actually this time finish the job and get some pressure to Ridder. Not going to be easy considering the Falcons have a pretty solid offensive line. Also got to find a way to stuff the run and stuff Bijan Robinson. That too. But yeah, this is easily a winnable game. The Lions need to win this game. Like, if you ask me personally, you ask me which games are must win on the schedule for the Lions? Simple. All of them. Every game is a must win. Every game matters. Like we saw last year, a game early in the season, this early in the season, meant a lot to the Lions. Gotta get some wins, trying to establish dominance in the NFC North. Especially since the Lions are currently in the dogfight. Like honestly, I don't know why fans are all of a sudden throwing in the towel after 2 fucking games. Like the first loss of the season, and this fan base is already fucking throwing in the towel and giving up after facing one shred of fucking adversity. Like, good lord, this fan base is fucking pathetic. Like, one single shred of adversity, and you fucking fold up like a fucking stack of chairs. That's honestly pathetic. Like, honestly, this is why the Lions don't win shit. Because the fan base has been undeserving. Like, seriously, one shred of adversity, you failed the fucking test. And you all of a sudden want to just give up because of a couple injuries. Because, everyone has to deal with adversity. We're about to see what this Lions team is truly made of now that they have a single shred of adversity. And we're about to see if this Lions team can rebound after being punched in the mouth last week. So yeah, we're about to see what this team is truly made of this Sunday. But yeah, honestly, this fan base needs to be fucking better. Like, seriously, you're gonna give up after one fucking game? Like, I'll say this, the game against Seattle last week, it exposed a good chunk of this fan base. It exposed all those fake-ass bandwagon bitches that were hopping on the Lions during the off-season. And by the way, bandwagon exit stage left. But yeah, now is a chance to bounce back, get that win, and get the season back on track. Like, the Lions still can do this. Like, the NFC North is still wide open. Like, the only team that Detroit has to really contend with in the North is, shockingly, the Green Bay Packers, because the Packers don't know when to just fucking stay dead. Because the Chicago Bears, they ain't it. The Bears have been utter fucking dog shit. And it sounds like the Bears are about to fucking move on from Fields. And also, Chicago Bears fans are slowly turning on Justin Fields, which is what I exactly predicted what would happen when they realized that Fields isn't the answer. And honestly, I hope Chicago keeps Justin Fields and they continue to suffer. And the Minnesota Vikings, they aren't it either, because the Vikings are now 0-2 in one-score games after going 11-1 in one-score games last year. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that the Vikings aren't the team everyone thought they were when they no longer have that fucking golden horseshoe shoved up their ass. Like, the only team Detroit has to contend with in this division is Green Bay. Like, if we can contend with Green Bay or get ahead of them, Detroit could still win this division. We just got to beat Green Bay. Because Chicago ain't it, and Minnesota ain't it. Green Bay's the only team the Lions have to contend with. But yeah, anyway, before we could get to Green Bay, though, the Lions need to get to Atlanta. And I think the Lions win this game. I think this is a good game. I think this is a time for the Lions to bounce back. I think it's going to be a defensive, low-scoring game. But I could see the Lions winning this one. I got Detroit 22-21. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Detroit wins by a point. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to come down to who can perform when it matters the most. And I think Detroit gets it. I got Detroit 22-21. I'm confident the Lions can bounce back after Seattle last week and beat the Falcons. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Hope everyone has a great day, and fuck all you fake-ass Lions fans. I'm out.